Hello creatives! Today I will show you how I can use three-point perspective to create a simple cityscape. I'm going to use a single sheet of paper, a pencil to get started, and a ruler as well. I'll begin by using my ruler and pencil to create a 2-inch border around my sheet of paper. Watch closely to see how I'm able to do that. After measuring 2 inches from each corner on the sheet of paper, all I need to do is connect those dots with the ruler, and bing bang boom, I'll have my 2-inch border. Next, I use my ruler to create a horizon line close to the bottom of the page. On both sides, I make a mark for my 1 and 2 points of my perspective. Next, I draw a line down the center as close as I can for my 3rd point of perspective. You can see here that I'm not quite on center, so I decide to erase it and try again. While you're working on this project or any other creative adventure, feel free to erase and try again. There is nothing wrong with that. Let's review what we've got so far. A 2-inch border creating a rectangle in the center of the page, a horizon line from side to side with 2 dots on either side, and then 1 line in the middle with only 1 dot at the very top. From here I can begin creating my 3-point perspective cityscape. The rules are every side of a building has lines that come down from that top point at the very top of the page. You can see here I'm starting to create lines from that point for one tall skyscraper. Then the lines that indicate the top and bottom of each building will vanish down towards the left and the right point, just like this. In truth, I often feel like my words limit what I'm trying to express, so be sure to really look closely at what I'm doing here and try your best to understand why I'm making each line and where each line is going. Hopefully by now you're able to see the perspective of this rectangular prism as it goes back into space towards the left and the right, but also up towards the sky, creating a really interesting perspective in which it looks like I'm at the very bottom. Some people call this an ant's eye view, a bug's eye view, or something similar. Following the rules of 3-point perspective, you and I are able to draw out a cityscape with an interesting point of view. Remember that the sides of each shape or building are going to come down from the top point. Then the top and bottom edges of each shape or building are going to go towards the corresponding left or right point to create this really interesting perspective. Do watch closely, see what I do, watch how I mark my marks, and think about where each line is coming from and going to. This is tricky and it is such a mental effort to figure it out and make it work, but I believe in you and I believe in myself, and we can do it. As you finish up your sketch, remember that you are allowed to erase any unnecessary lines, sketchy mistakes, things like that. Take a moment with me to follow my finger as I trace each line to the vanishing point it belongs to. Hopefully by now you either understand these principles or are really starting to. As I move forward with my video and with my design, I'm going to add a few more buildings, a few more details, and color it. I did decide to color my 3-point perspective cityscape really simply. I wanted to just show this process in really simple ways so that you can better understand it. And so I colored really in simple blocks of gray, blue, white, and then eventually black. Follow along with me just to further solidify your understanding of 3-point perspective and see how I decided to finish my work of art. Thank you for watching everything so far. I hope this has been helpful and continues to be helpful for you. We've got this, creatives. A word of advice for anyone who is using a ruler, a paint marker, or an ink pen to finish the outline of their 3-point perspective cityscape. Be sure not to drag your ruler across any wet paint or ink, because the last thing we want at this stage in our drawing is to smear some ink or some paint and ruin all of our hard work. If that were to happen, I would suggest you to consider how you could turn that smear into a happy accident. Maybe it becomes smoke coming out of a chimney stack or out of a building in general. Maybe it becomes a flock of birds or something else. You're just as creative as I am, so we can definitely think of a way to fix that if that were to happen. Making sure you don't drag your ruler over wet ink or wet paint is a great way to avoid that mistake altogether. Of course, with any art activity, I do encourage you to try it in your own style. I mentioned before I left mine very simple with big blocks of colors just so that you can understand how this principle of 3-point perspective works. As you try this, feel free to make it as detailed or as simple as you'd like. Add windows, doors, billboards, things like that. Birds in the sky, clouds in the sky, the sun in the sky, I don't know. Make it your own and do it in your own style. Regardless of how it turns out, I hope you had a good time learning about this 3-point perspective style of drawing. I thank you for watching my video, and I wish you happy making, creatives. Take care.